How's it going, everyone? Before here, welcome to Heliopolis Radio, and thank you all for tuning in. I hope you've all had a blessed week thus far, and that you've managed to get done with whatever you've intended to do. And so, this is a interesting podcast or personal vlog. Because this is now. I guess now you've probably deduced from the whole. The last few videos that addiction has been a main topic and component of the personal vlog series. I'm hoping to eventually at some point move on to something else, but this is a really important one to me personally because of my own personal battle with addiction, and I'll share the top 4 addictions that have really taken, I guess, a toll on my life. I'll say it in a particular order, but the first one would be food. And I know I'm skinny as fuck, but believe it or not, for the longest of time, food was a serious coping mechanism for me. And there's specific reasons to that and why. And the other is gaming. Gaming for me was one of those coping mechanisms to escape reality, to not face life, and again, there's specific reasons to that, which I'll maybe get into in another podcast, in another personal vlog. But the second one is marijuana, which was quite a deep and intense one. It was a deep and intense process, because that journey was quite revealing to me in many ways. And obviously being king of those addictions is pornography, and it's been by far the most destructive influence in my life. It's ruined quite a bit of it, to be honest. Sometimes I don't even know the extent to the damage that's been done, but pornography, and the reason why I talk about it is because I relapsed this week, and it was really, what can I say? It's tough, man. It's tough because, for those of you that know me, at least, on a personal level, you know that I'm kind of a spiritually inclined person. I'm not the most spiritually inclined person, but it's a strong component of my life and my lifestyle, and it's been very powerful in helping me get through a lot of the shit, that's popped up in my life. It's ironic that for someone who incorporates something that's of such a high purity to come and have, to be battling these demons internally, there's a serious issue there, and there's a heaviness and a darkness that comes from that. And the reason why I'm sharing it now is because my new philosophy is just about embracing the pain, the pain of truth, and the pain of having to be able to be truthful around others. And the reason why I'm doing it is I believe that is the ultimate way to regaining some form of equilibrium in my life, and also some type of control and direction. I'm not saying I control life, I don't, but I definitely know that in sharing and being truthful and trying to have more honest dialogues in how I, whatever content I do give to people, there's an ultimate liberating factor that comes from it. But I'm not gonna get too deep into that shit. I just kind of break it down, just not going too raw and everything into it. But I've been battling it for about 12 years, and thankfully it's tapered down over the years, which I'm really grateful for. It comes back and it relapses, and it tends to relapse in times of when I'm really struggling and going through shit, or when my mental health is really at an all-time low, or my confidence is at an all-time low. But I believe that's where the power is, in that pain, in that embarrassment, and in that truth, because I know for a fact, but I know very well that I'm not the only one going through it. And there are 10 million videos on YouTube, phenomenal people with the fucking exceptional stories, some maybe not so exceptional, but regardless, the phenomena is generic. And so I'm not gonna go into a whole deep philosophical thing about, you know, porn's bad, it's this, it's that, it's not religious. I'm not gonna do that because, and I don't want it to be about that. It's really about my personal understanding of myself through battling this addiction. And the number one thing I realized is it really destroys your connection to spirit and to people. It takes you into a world of disillusionment, and it makes you kind of forget who you are in a way. And you know, you always ask yourself, well, why do we engage in destructive habits? And everyone has their baggage and everyone has their reasons. And the reason for me, you know, pornography it gave me a false sense of power to be able to handle the pain of whatever I may be experiencing in life. You know, I'm not saying I've had the most challenging life, and you know, I've been very fortunate in many respects to be, to have a very good group of people around me for the most part. You know, but it doesn't mean I haven't had my fair share of shortcomings, baggage, and dramas, and you know. And porn for me was a way of coping with the trauma and frustration and disappointment that's come with that. And more importantly, it gave me a full sense of confidence to believe that I could be able to face whatever fucking shit that life would throw my way. And that's, you know, unfortunately becomes subconsciously edged in my mind, in my psyche. And again, with addiction, it's all about a coping mechanism to face whatever ultimate darkness we're facing internally or externally. And you know, my relapse has definitely come at an interesting time where it's a tough point. It's a tough point, I won't lie. And you know, the reason why I'm choosing to now share it is because I realize that part of the journey is recognizing that it's in sharing that you remove your attachment to certain things, and that you begin to shift the way you handle problems and you tackle things. And so, yeah, no, it was 12 years long. You know, I masturbate, you know, from God knows how many times a day. It was sometimes terrible, particularly in high school. It'll be like 3 to 4 times a day. And you know, back then, you know, we have this material, that's hilarious shit, this nigga busted nut this many times, and all that type of shit. But really, when it comes down to the truth of it, from your human experience, your human energetic experience, it's destructive, man. It's really bad. Because, you know, not only are you depleting your life force, you know, something that's a God-given, it's a gift from God, literally, for any man and woman. Our sexual energy is sacred. It's a creative power that exists within us. Yes, it fuels our compulsions, but ultimately, in the hands of a person with a clear mind and a clear consciousness as to how things works, it's a source of life. And you know, the sad truth to porn is it depletes life fruitlessly. You know, because it's not real. You only ultimately fuel your own illusions, and it leaves you very empty and broken at the end of it. Yeah, you get the temporary relief from like an orgasm or anything, but you know, the rise is just as equal to the rise is the fall, and the fall is terrible. And that's you know, where you find yourself at the low point. And it's really hard to crawl yourself. It's hard to crawl back up because you know, it's just, number one, not only, you know, unlike, you know, drugs will have an effect on us, but when you're depleting your sexual energy, that's your vital life force to engage activities in life, to have that strength and resistance and resolve to some of the challenges of life. And when that's been taken away from you, when you consciously give it away to a false idea of, you know, connection to someone who's, you know, hot or whatever, you know, the ideal, whatever, you know, sexual partner of your dreams or whatever shit, you know, the mind concocts. It's a tough tragedy, man, because our human experience is, you know, our sexual energy is super important to that. And so, yeah, 12 years of highs and lows, relapses, and it's just, it's been embarrassing and humiliating to say the very least, but more importantly, it's just been hurtful to your connectedness to people, or to life, and to your own spirit, or to God, if you want to, however you view it. And the reason why I share it is because, it's, for me, I think part of what I want to have going moving forward with whatever content that I make is, actually sharing, I guess, concrete, not real things, but just having real talk with people. And the reason why I didn't even want to talk about it is because there's so many things which are attention grabs. I don't want to be an attention grabber, per se. They're very intelligent, genuine, phenomenal people that have already spoken of it. And so there's no real reason for me to be like, oh, I'm just another nigga going through the addiction. But I guess because of the relapse, it's just a certain level of authenticity and accountability and honesty that just comes with just sharing these things. And, God knows, fuck, I might even relapse again after this, and that's the tough part. But look, I think that, the beauty and what's helping me face this thing is finally learning to embrace pain. The pain of not having that power that I would think I'll be getting from watching porn or jerking off, and letting life be, moving with the punches as best as possible. As difficult as that may be, it's better than just being depleted and frustrated and angry and constantly seeking a high. I don't know that it's for me, in my opinion, it's probably the most prevalent addiction that is really affecting our society, and particularly men, and compromising our ability to function and to be the members in society that we need to be. And I'm not trying to sound patriotic or any of that shit. It's from a biological, physical perspective, but more importantly, it's what it does to your mind, how it distorts your sense of reality, of what's real and what's not. It's just not, for me, I've realized now that it's something that, eventually has to kind of be brought to the forefront and rectified in our society and in us as individuals. And let me know in the comment sections, if you're going through it. I mean, I'm not gonna I don't really have any solid recommendations and suggestions other than continuing the journey of towards sobriety. It's a mountain to climb, and it's a difficult mountain, but I believe that when you create a community through sharing your personal truths, that mountain becomes more feasible and more practical to climb. And so, yeah, you're probably wondering, there are a lot of elements to pornographic addiction and its effect on our biology, on our mental state, and our health, our well-being. And I actually want to go into that in the next personal vlog, just talk about what I have been doing to kind of move away from this, from the destructive act itself. And it's fucking difficult, guys. It really is. But I basically started looking into things like, the human energy field, emotions, trauma, and trauma in our relationship to sex, particularly while we engage in sexual acts, and just how the fucking, what it does in our mind, and also like exploring things like the power dynamic, and really learning to tackle those weak points and areas in my life. And learning that, eventually through the disciplined and consistent approach, and really continuing to, engage other people and hearing how, other people have gone about their journey, and if they're still struggling and everything, what they're doing to, just keep on fighting forward. But 12 years of being a porn addict, if you had asked me, particularly with my spiritual view on life now, I would never have imagined myself to be struggling with something like this. But the truth about life is we struggle with shit and we go through shit. and everyone is battling their demons, man. You know, and it's always the people that try put on a smile, that people that are trying, you know, people effort, people particularly who are putting in an insurmountable amount of effort. I'm not saying I'm that type of person. I've just realized that, you know, those are the people that internally are going through quite a bit. And, you know, part of, you know, changing that dynamic of internal conflict, it's by ultimately projecting your own inner struggles out, not in a bad, negative way, like burdening people with your problems and your issues and shit like that. I hate it. But in a way of sharing your own personal journey, you know, and it's not just porn, you know, marijuana addiction is a whole different battle. Food addiction, alcohol addiction, they're all different battles, you know, gaming addiction, everything is a different battle, but it all relates to our mind and where we're struggling there. And so, yeah, and on the next personal vlog, I'll talk about the energy dynamic, you know, and, you know, you can let me know what you guys think about it. But I rambled on a bit too much. I try to keep this thing under 13 minutes. I'm on 16 minutes. So I'm going to end the vlog here, but thank you guys for tuning in, and let me know what you guys think. Feel free to comment. If not, if it's just one of those fucking topics that, you know, it is what it is, and it's also good with me. Again, I just do this to be organic and authentic with people. And yeah, no, enjoy the rest of your week and weekend, and peace and blessings to the people. Thank you.